Hello, I'm Ajaya Hobart, and I'm the host of the Flying Falcon, where we highlight a student athlete here at Gerstell Academy who exemplifies the value system on and off the field. This week's Flying Falcon is senior and one of the captains of our boys varsity soccer team, Kirkland Kilroy.
Thank you for having me, Ajay.
Thank you for sitting down with me today. So I do have just a few questions for you. Um, as anyone knows, around campus, our boys varsity team's looking like pretty well when it comes to conference play, undefeated so far. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the season so far.
Well, we had a shaky start. We weren't doing exactly what we were coached to be doing. We were kind of struggling with our system of play, as our coach always emphasizes to us. And then we started to kind of get that chemistry together, and we started playing a lot better, like significantly better, and playing to the system that our coach wanted us to play to. So overall, it's gotten a lot better into where something that we could be proud of. So, yeah,
That's great. It's always good to be proud of the work you're putting in.
I know, right?
So also just this is your fourth year here at Gerstell, and with that you've been a part of the soccer team for all 4 years. So a question with that, since you've seen seniors leave, you've had freshmen and underclassmen be additions to the team. How's the team changed since your freshman year, either socially when it comes to off the pitch or when it comes to on the pitch?
Overall, I wasn't really that social as a freshman, so socially it's gotten a lot different because I've started to get to know a lot of the underclassmen, even some of them because I knew them before even coming to the school. And then more of the culture, we're definitely more of an outgoing team. We have character on our team.
For
Sometimes
sure.
it may be good, and other times not the best. But overall, I think that it's becoming a lot more healthy, I would say,
Hmm.
and it helps us as a team to function because we see each other as more friends and not just teammates that we are on the soccer field.
Exactly. You got to learn the balance when you can turn the switch on and off from friends to just teammates and getting the work done. So also looking back on your 4 years of playing Gerstell soccer, what has really been like the biggest lesson you've learned over the past 4 years playing soccer?
My biggest lesson probably would be that regardless of how good or bad your team is, no matter what, you just have to put in 100% effort because eventually it will come back to you. As our coach said last practice, whatever gets dished, it will eventually come back. And we, at one point, my freshman year, were getting crushed pretty much every game.
Hmm.
And now we are having the fun and dominating the field. And it's becoming a lot better since my freshman year.
That's great. So you were talking about your relationship with underclassmen. So what is one piece of advice you would give to an underclassman, either a rising eighth grader next year or our freshman and our sophomore class this year?
A piece of advice that I would give is no matter what grade you're in, you should always strive to step up as a leader because your team will need those leaders regardless of who's the captain. You
Hmm.
should always be stepping up as an individual to lead your team, regardless of if it's as an example or if you're going to be a more vocal leader, because your team will need that type of leader to be successful.
For sure. Everyone needs some sort of leader in some shape or form in order to succeed. Um, Playing midfield, what are your biggest challenges you face when you're on the pitch? And when you are faced with them, how do you really overcome those challenges? Because it's definitely not easy because it's in game. You don't get to freeze time and kind of be like, okay, how do I figure this out? So how do you really face those challenges and overcome them like in the moment?
I think one of my biggest issues is sometimes as a whole, our team can be panicked. And when our team's panicked, it makes it a lot harder to function as a team when we're trying to move the ball because a lot's going through your head and they can, even me, I can get stressed out and you just kind of panic with the ball and you're not going to know where you go, so you freeze. But as soon as you freeze, you have the other team has an opportunity to take the ball from you or even score on you if you
Hmm.
really are that
That frozen.
confused.
Yeah,
And the way we really have to adapt to that is you have to get comfortable with making mistakes, and if you make those mistakes, it's what you do after that mistake, and you just can only learn and grow from those mistakes.
for sure. So my last question for you is, as you've been here for 4 years and you also are a part of only our soccer team, only playing one season, what are other ways you really stay involved in the Gerstel community when it's not soccer season?
Typically, I stay more involved even during soccer season. I go to the volleyball games or even sometimes the girls' soccer games. And I also like to watch the boys and girls basketball teams. And very few times I would also watch the lacrosse game. So I tend to be more supportive of the other sports as well when my season's not necessarily going on.
For sure. I look forward to seeing you out at all the other athletics. Also, I just wish you the best of the rest of your senior season and your team as well, on a pretty good track, undefeated so far. We'll see what the future holds for them. But just thank you very much for sitting down with me today, Kirkland. Again, this is this week's Flying Falcon, Kirkland Kilroy, senior class, and also a captain of our boys varsity soccer team.
Thanks for having me, Ajay.
Of course.